The largest football crowd in the history of the Lone Star State. 85,000 expected. This is the 106th meeting between these two great rivals, Texas and Texas A&M in College Station.
Second down and 11. Touchdown, Texas A&M.
Well, McGee's going to run. Ran out of harm's way, then turns Kimball all the way around. Lane in the ball game. He's there to block. Quick pass over the middle, and the tackle is broken by Taylor. It's a foot race. 30, 25, 15, 10, 5, touchdown.
Mon, end zone. Caught! Courtney Davis! Jump ball to the end zone. Rodgers, I think, made that catch. Got it! The Aggies win the game of the year in the Southeastern Conference.
Snap from Patrick Lewis. Four-man Alabama rush. Got it. No, they didn't. Oh, my gracious.
Yep.
How about that? Blitz. Manziel, watch out. Boy, when he gets out of the pocket, no holds barred. Manziel. He's going to go deep right again, and he's got slow. Gosh, what a pass. Oh, wow. McCarron will throw it. It's intercepted. DeShazer Everett at the goal line. And Texas A&M. Reichard's kick. Goes down to the 3-yard line to A-Chain. And A-Chain's got an opening. He's got world-class speed. He's gone. A-Chain takes it coast to coast. Touchdown, Aggie.
Back left. Drops back under pressure. He's sacked inside the 10. First throw again. The ball is a catch at the 30, and right on top of that for the Aggies will be Von Miller.
Double tight end. DeMarco. No, he did not get in.
1 yard line. That was 4th and goal at the 1. The Aggies just stopped them at the 1.
Teenage wasteland.
With Spiller on 4th and 2. Spiller cuts it down. Has a first down and more. He's got a touchdown and the lead for A&M. Moving to his right. Looking deep, got a receiver. It's caught. Chapman touchdown.
For an Aggie upset win. And it's good. He got it.
To take the lead for the Hogs. It hit the top and rains down into the end zone. AJ's going to run it again. Diving, fumbles the ball. And Chappelle's got it. Tyreek Chappelle in the right spot as he hands it off to Richardson. Here he goes. Wow! Can you believe this?
A-Chain, blockers out in front. Kept his balance, gets down the sideline. The sprinter in the open field, and no one's going to catch him.
How we doing, Aggie family? We feeling good? 3 more sleeps till game day. I know we got some bad news today, guys. I know we might not feel the best right this second with the news about Connor Weigman. But damn it, we have a great football game coming up. One of my favorite games of the year every year, despite where it's played. I actually like the game in Jerry World. I'm going to the game. I try to go to the game every year. It's a fun, house-divided situation. Hostile fans, a lot of back and forth talk. And it's a crossroads type of a game this year, guys. It's a big one. The whole season's ahead of us. We gotta get this one, guys. It's such an important game. But of course, we got to start the show talking about Connor Weigman, officially out for the year with an unexpected turn of events, because on Monday we thought that it was a sprain. Connor will be back after a couple weeks. Turns out that there were some complications over time. As the thing developed, apparently he had some unusual pain in his foot, so it was more than just the ankle. It was a broken foot, a bone in the foot. We don't know exactly what happened, but Connor Weigman is out for the year. And in comes Max Johnson yet again. It seems like we do this every year now. I mean, we can go back years of quarterback injury history at Texas A&M in recent history. It's really unfortunate, but we are very fortunate to have a backup like Max Johnson. So I'm going to go ahead and throw the call-in link in the chat. You don't have to call in, but if you feel like it, call in. I don't know if anybody wants to vent tonight because of the Connor news. I know it's not the best feeling, but you know, Max Johnson time. I am super confident in Max. I think that this year, the ceiling and the floor to the season doesn't change with Max Johnson as your quarterback. I really, really think Max is the kind of guy that can just take over and be a professional, a college-age professional, and take over this team and have the team not skip a beat. He's been here a couple years now. He has starting experience here at Texas A&M. He has a lot of SEC starting experience. He has a hell of an arm. He's a hell of a player, has a hell of an attitude. I'm excited for Max Johnson. But where I'm really fearful now is in the depth in the quarterback room. I mean, if Max goes down, you have unproven players. So it's up to this offensive line to look each other in the eye and really take that final step forward and become the dominant group that they should become. Because if you look at this offensive line, they are a big, juicy group. They're like 325-pound average or something like that. And they look good when they're on their assignments, but there's a lot of communication error still, not picking things up as they should. But I've noticed incremental increase in their level of play pretty much every game this year. And I think they probably had their best game versus Auburn. But hopefully they take that final step forward, because Max is the kind of quarterback that will need a little bit more time to get things going. But yeah, guys, the StreamYard link is in the chat. What you're going to do is you're going to click that. It's going to take you into a waiting room, and I'll pull you in one by one to talk live on YouTube. It's your floor. Whatever you want to talk about, wherever you want to take it, we'll go there. And yeah. So let's go ahead and say what's up to everybody in the chat. We got Matt Myers and Anti-Ag as usual. Thanks for being here, y'all. We got Nick Hool. We got Chris Cobb, Asian Persuasion, Play to Win, 1958. OC Airsoft in the house. What's up? JT Man 979. Second year of a starting quarterback getting a broken foot. Tradition, question mark? Maybe. Dylan Villa. Hey, bro. Showing support as a Miami fan. Hope the Aggies finish out the year strong. Prayers up for Weigman as well. He's the real deal. I've got a lot of good response from Miami fans after the game. They support Weigman. Obviously, they're rooting for the Aggies to pump up their win. And I think us as Aggies would like to see Miami really finish the season strong, because we'd like to believe they were a damn good team, and they looked really good. And now that we've seen the defense start to take steps forward, we're really hoping that that defensive performance versus Miami was both an anomaly, but also just a showcasing of a really good offense with Tyler Van Dyke at the helm. Jay, what's up, Jay? JP Ramirez, we're cursed now. I know, we're going to hear a lot of the curse stuff, guys. We're going to hear a lot of curse, a lot of, you know, here we go again. I mean, just can't catch a break in the quarterback room, guys. I mean, it's been pretty brutal. But I have a few questions for you guys today, as usual, is becoming tradition. I want you guys to, as usual, give me your score prediction on the game. And then I also want you to let me know if Max at the helm changes the outlook on the year. Does our record change in your eyes? I mean, are we more likely to win or lose more games now? Or do you think it's really still based on the question marks on the team, which is corner play, some secondary issues, Can we get a consistent pass rush? Can we protect the quarterback? Can we run block? Are the typical issues that we've been talking about week to week still what's going to hold this team back or determine the success of this team? Or does Max at the helm kind of affect that thing? That's what I want to know. I want to know if Max changes this thing in your eyes. But let's get into some of the calls. We got an early caller. Arkansas for life. You have the floor. How's it going, man? You're on with Drew. Oh, he just left. Right when I put him on stage, he bounced out. I guess he didn't want to talk. You know, I've had a lot of I've had some issues with Arkansas fans in the past. I have Arkansas family, actually, so kind of closer to the program than most, I guess. But whenever I go to this game, there seems to always be a situation, whether it's a dude getting punched, a dude yelling at me for accidentally bumping into his wife, a dude kind of getting in my face after I whooped emotionally after a win, as many of us do. I seem to have some issues with Arkansas fans, but all right, we got another caller. Jeb, you're on with Drew, and this time I think the people can hear you. How's it going, man?
You got it fixed this time?
I got it fixed. I'm visually seeing your sound bars now, so we are good, man. How's it going?
I'm doing pretty well, man. Pretty excited for this matchup, actually.
Oh yeah, it's an awesome game.
So let me ask you a question. Do you like playing at Jerry World?
I am one of the few that actually loves this game. I love going to this game. I love an excuse to go to Jerry World because I'm not a Cowboys fan, so I never use that as an excuse to go. I'm weird, man. I know I'm super weird, but I like the building divided. I like the hostility. It's just, you know, it's getting face-to-face with a fan base that hates us, and it's kind of fun.
Right.
That's what I like about it.
Absolutely. I agree with you. I am a big Cowboys fan.
Okay, okay, I got you.
I love that we play at Jerry World. I think we play one more year, right? I think next season's the last year.
Yeah, it's next year. In my video, I mistakenly said this year was the last year. I don't know what I was thinking, but yeah.
Right. Are you going to the game?
Oh,
are
yeah,
you going
I'll
to
be there this weekend.
Dang, dude. All right, dude, it's a beautiful stadium, man.
Dude, I know. I love it. I actually like going to it, man. It's just a pleasant atmosphere. It's state of the art. Obviously, they spared no expense. I mean, that thing looks like a spaceship ready to take off. It's crazy to look at.
Right. I was watching a bunch of, Arkansas videos this morning, and they'll tell you otherwise, man. They hate playing there. I mean, rightfully so. I mean, we've beat them the last 10 out of 11 years, so.
Yeah, it's not been a great situation for them. Now, let me ask you a question. You might know this. Does this limit recruiting visits? Is the home team able to have visits on this trip, or is it no recruiting visits to Jerry World?
I was actually reading that this morning. I think they said yes. I could be wrong.
So the home team gets visits, I would guess.
I think so, but it's not really your stadium. But I guess you get to watch the team play.
Yeah, I mean, talk to the coaches. It's kind of a weird situation. I mean,
right.
I guess in that regard, it's kind of a negative on the year because you lose that. But I'm sure players love to play in an NFL stadium in college. I'm sure that's a selling point. So I don't know, man. I mean, what don't you like about it? You sound like you're maybe iffy about the situation.
Oh no, I mean, yes. I guess I honestly just don't even think about it when we play at Cowboy Stadium. I'm just like, both teams very good. It's always a great game. I guess I don't know. Most Arkansas fans will say it's not really neutral, but
yeah, I guess by location it's not. But you know what? They usually fill it up pretty close to the top. I don't think either side has filled up their side to the top of the game. At least
I don't think so.
At least since I've been going to the game for the last 3-4 years. But yeah, I mean, they do divide it pretty evenly, but it's on Texas soil. I mean, I get that, but I don't know, man. And we just kicked their ass.
I'm excited for Max Johnson, man. I know this is probably a controversial opinion, but I thought when he came to the Auburn game, man, I thought he ran the offense a lot more smoother, and we probably would have scored one more time if, weren't for those two penalties back to back.
Yeah. I know. Man, there are so many different ways you could have sliced this game up. I mean, you could have said that if they had a quarterback that wasn't Peyton Thorne, they would have scored 17 and not missed that wide open receiver on the wheel route.
Absolutely.
You could have said if we didn't stall out on those first two drives where I think we were in the red zone both times, we could have been up 14-0 to start the game. I think we could have gone up 21-0 I think that's how it was, if that scoop and score didn't get called back.
Right.
Which continues to be ridiculous in my mind. I mean, how do you feel about that play?
I personally thought it was a fumble. I know fans will say otherwise, but, I mean, they said it was a forward pass, but it doesn't matter. If you move forward and you take steps, it's a fumble, right?
That's what I would think. I mean,
And
I
I know
it's bang bang, but yeah,
I just think it was very bang bang. So it's like there's not enough evidence to overturn it. That's my opinion on it. I mean, I thought he took a couple steps. It was very short though. I mean, it was like immediately, but he took a step or two.
Yeah, I mean, he got it, he tucked it, and it immediately popped out of his hands. But beyond that, I don't know. Okay, so I found out this: they did call it a forward pass on the field. I didn't know that until the voice actually. Andrew Monaco saying it on the radio broadcast. So that does change it in my mind because I think there was an argument that you can't overturn that being called a lateral. I thought they called it a lateral on the field.
Right.
And that does kind of change the way it is because you called it a forward pass on the field. I can see an argument for it being an incompletion because he only had it for like a split second. But regardless, the point we were making here is there were a bunch of ways you could have sliced this game. A&M could have scored in the 40s this game, but they can't.
Oh
afford
yeah,
to do
that's
that
just not
Arkansas.
Jimbo's style, man. He doesn't like to run up the score, unfortunately.
Right, exactly. Yeah, although he should have, but whatever. But
I like this matchup. I mean, I was kind of a little nervous, but I'm feeling a little better. I'm feeling a little better this week.
Yeah, I don't think they have the explosive weapons they've had before, but they do have some big bodies at receiver, and maybe some jump ball situations might be weird for DeBerry and Chappelle, and Reese Harmon's a smaller guy, so that'll be interesting. And then obviously it's just KJ, man. KJ just extends.
Dude, he's the heart and soul of that team. If they didn't have him on the roster, dude, they're probably looking at maybe like a 5-7, 6-6 team. I think.
Yeah, I think you might be right, but he's that good. I think he's that. I don't know if he's necessarily just straight up that good, but he just does so much.
Yeah, he's definitely impressed me. I know I've kind of ragged on him a little bit, saying he was maybe a little overrated than people expect, but after this year, he definitely has my respect because I watched, the BYU and LSU game, and he definitely did not let them lose. I mean, they lost, but he gave them a little bit of life.
I know. I hope we're ready to take him down, man. He's looking as big as ever, man. I mean, people just bounce off of him. It's crazy.
Yeah, you can't play too aggressive. I mean, I read that their run offense right now is ranked 100.
Really?
So, yeah, that's what I did not know that.
Yeah, I know they're trying to limit his rushes because obviously wear and tear is kind of a thing, and then Rocket Sanders is down. But it sounds like Rocket Sanders is going to play this weekend.
Yeah, I mean, of course he's going to play, right?
Of course he comes back. He's practicing. He's feeling good. He's just going to go out there and have the game of his life. I mean, yeah, I know.
But I feel good about the run. I mean, I feel good about stopping the run. We've stopped the run pretty much all year. So versus an Arkansas O-line that isn't bad by any means, but they're definitely not as good.
Right.
As recent years.
Inconsistent. They're real good one play, and the next play they just kind of,
And they have pretty good receivers. They're not, they're not great by any means, but they're good enough. I mean, they have that dude from I think A&M Commerce. Yeah. And they had that Tesla guy that I think we offered him as a YouTube player. Yeah, in the portal. I think we offered him. We offered both the receivers, actually. I think one of them's from Bowling Green. Yep. I know we offered him. I think all three of their stars are all from the portal. So
yeah. They have a 6'7" guy, number 17. Is that the Bowling Green guy?
Yeah, that's the Bowling Green guy. I think we offered out of the portal as well. So
yeah. Tesla was an All-American in his division. He was really good.
Their tight end's really good. That freshman tight end was I think. That's a guy that makes me nervous because Damani's probably gonna have to cover him. Yeah. And Damani can be very shaky at times.
Yes, he can. He's a physical guy, but sometimes he's not the best in coverage. But true freshman on a fifth-year senior, that's going to be an interesting thing to watch, so.
Absolutely. I always thought they should have probably made Damani into a linebacker.
That's what I've always felt. I've always felt that would suit him better.
Maybe gain 10 more pounds and have him play, outside, and then probably just move Coop in the middle, and then
Dude,
that's what I thought.
He looks like a tank out there at safety.
He is. Dude, the way he's built and shoulders, they're huge, man. So it's I don't know. I just think in coverage, he's a good leader back there. But anybody with speed, he's just not a good cover guy. But I mean, they played well. I mean, obviously the defensive line was creating pressure, and that Auburn quarterback was obviously you can tell he was stressed out the whole game.
Yeah. They did not let him get comfortable for sure, and he was kind of just a jitterbug back there.
So we really need – I just think in this game we definitely cannot start slow. I'm tired. The last 2 years, man, every single time we're down 14-0. We got chase points. You can't let them do that this year.
Can't do it, man. We're not – I mean, got to do that. You have to limit mistakes, penalties. You can't settle for 3.
Right, touchdowns.
It's been 2 weeks in a row we've been settling for 3. And one of those was against ULM. So, I mean, it's clearly self-inflicted. I mean, that whole situation there. Stop with the penalties. Stop with the false starts. I hope Bryce Foster gets that snap count down. Seemed like he was responsible for a couple of those.
Oh yeah, the pass pro. I know Auburn's pass rush was kind of non-existent last game, but I was really impressed with the pass pro. For A&M fans, that's a huge deal.
Yeah.
All right.
Think about last year. Constant duress, constant breakdown.
Terrible.
I mean, it's looking a lot better. You know, I think the offensive line, like I said, is making strides every game. But before I let you go, Jeb, give me your score prediction. I want to hear it. I don't know if you typed it in chat already, but give it to me.
Okay. You know what? I like this matchup. I like that. I think it comes down to depth. And from what I've watched from Arkansas, they're a good team. They'll hang around, but they definitely get gassed on defense very quick. And they got some good pieces on defense, the defensive line, their linebackers, secondary. I think secondary is probably their weakness.
Right.
But I have A&M going, you know what? I think we win comfortable. I think 38-27.
You think so? Okay. So is it another weird, crazy game, or do you think A&M keeps a little comfortable lead through the whole thing?
I think Arkansas is a little beat up from those last two games. I mean, I'm sure they'll make a hell of a game out of it, like they always do.
Yeah.
But I want to think differently. I want to think A&M starts out fast. I like Johnson. I like his stability, his confidence. The thing I like about Max Johnson is he doesn't panic.
Right. Very poised.
Very poised, very calm, and he has a beautiful deep ball, dude. He can chunk that thing.
Yep. I mean, yeah.
And so, I want to say 38-27. I think around third quarter, I think when A&M kind of pulls away, you see that depth, you see the offense start going. I really want to get the run game going. I think you need to get Moss going, physical runner between the tackles, tire out that defensive line. Because I think they run a three-man front, I think. Like a 3-3. I think, right?
They have 4 on the line. I want to say
I
they
swear
have
I thought it was 3 deep. I was like, if they got 3 defensive line, you got to run the ball all day.
Yeah. No, they got to run the ball. I mean, I think Moss needs to be the guy that gets a slight edge on carries and wears the defense down. He's that kind of a dude.
Yeah, I like what we're doing with the running backs. I like that each of them get like pretty much a series each time we get the ball.
Yeah. I love it.
And the one thing I will say about defense that I don't like that we do, and I know why we do it, you know, to freshen up our players. I don't like how the starters don't start the second series. Have you noticed that?
Which position group?
The D-line.
Yeah, they take them out second
because they'll start Rakes and they'll start Regis in the middle. I mean, I get why they do that, you know, to rest your players, but I just think you guys start Jackson and Nolan every single time. And then you can rotate them in, obviously, in the series. But I think you guys start with those guys. But I hope that defense travels. I hope the defensive line gets pressure. That's all we can hope for. All
right, man. Yeah, I agree with you. And, dude, Walter Nolan's been a beast this year. Shamar Turner's been a beast this year. McKinley's always been a beast. I mean,
Fidel Diggs had himself a good game last week, too. So I hope he really starts to come on now.
Yeah, I think he will, man. Yeah, this D-line looks like it's cooking. Dude, this whole front seven is so exciting now. I mean, Torian York, dude, just take a moment to appreciate this guy. And you call
I know, man. I'm telling you, I live in Belton, Texas, so it's right. I don't know if you've heard of it.
I've heard of
it. It's right next to Temp. It's pretty much in between Austin and Waco.
Gotcha.
And I've been watching him for a long time, because, I mean, Temple High School is actually pretty good at football.
Yeah.
So, he started all the way, and I was like, dude, I wanted him to offer him the whole time. And I'm glad we did. I did not expect him to start as a freshman.
That was surprising because you had
very surprising.
Chris Russell.
He's played pretty well too. I mean, they rotate him in a lot too. So I'm glad he's in there. The one guy I wish we'd play more though is Harris. I mean, I think he's a good blitzing linebacker. We don't ever get to see him really.
I wonder why, and I'm a little worried about that because he's next man up. I'm pretty sure Edge and Chris Russell are gone next year. So.
Oh yeah, I think Russell's gone. Coop has one more year, but, I mean, do you think he goes pro after this? He's having a good year.
He's having a solid year. I feel like it's going to come down to one of those, are you going to take your chance and be a late pick situation is possible.
Yeah, because I think he's very undersized. I mean, he looks bigger this year, but he's definitely, undersized. So it'll probably be like a day 3 pick.
Yeah. I haven't even looked into it. I'm just kind of,
Oh, yeah, that's way ahead.
Yeah. So we'll see, but, man, I mean – I'm excited for this game, man. It's one of my favorite games of the year.
I am too, man. Classic.
I
I mean,
feel
you
good
get,
about it, but I'm always nervous about it. 'Cause
yeah,
you
I
just
mean, I'm going to be
never
nervous no
know.
matter what. Even that Auburn game, even though we were dominating defensively, I was still nervous. And I
Yeah.
mean, it's just kind of how it is, man. But
That
like
there's
this
no
matchup.
margin for error right now after the Miami loss. We got to win these next few going into
And
the
you,
bye,
oh,
I feel.
absolutely. Because you beat Arkansas, you're going to feel really good.
Dude.
If you beat Arkansas comfortably, you're going to feel really good about Bama.
I
So,
know. I don't even want to think about that yet. I don't even want to.
yeah,
think
we
about
can't
it.
we can't
I
think about it.
know,
We
I
got to take
know.
care of Arkansas.
They're a big test. But all right, Jeb, I'll let you go. I appreciate you calling in, man.
Yeah, man, no problem, dude. Thanks for having me.
Yes, sir. That was Jeb. Good guy, good friend of the show. Let's catch up on some comments here. Yeah, man, I'm really hyped about this linebacker group now. I mean, Torin York is a monster. He's all over the field. He makes the right decision. He doesn't get caught up in the line of scrimmage. He's always taking good angles. We got Christopher Jackson, finally an A&M content creator. Let's go. Anthony Myers, Arkansas is a very dangerous game, as you said. Wounded animal with their backs against the wall. Need to bring the A game. Max will do the job. Question is, will the team do the job? That's exactly what I say. They're a wounded animal. They're backed into a corner. They're solid. I mean, they're a good team. Look at what they almost did to LSU last week. They almost ruined LSU's year last week. But, they're either already knocked out, but I don't think they are. I think that we're going to get their absolute best effort, which means we have to be on point. Chris Cobb says 38-28 Aggies. Love it. Cody Schur says 20-17 Aggies, a close one. Matt says 35-21 Pigs. Dang. I mean, it's possible, but I don't think they're going to blow us out. It'll be a close game, I think, regardless of who wins. That's just my opinion. Oink Doink Part 2. I heard A&M has the best barbecue course in the nation. It's barbecue time. Yeah. Jay says 35-10 Ags. Barnes, what's going on, Bards? Good to see you here, man. Yep, last year was really wacky. Saw the first half when Connor went down, knew it couldn't be good. Yeah, man, he limped off the field. It did not look good. JP Ramirez says Connor isn't leaving. A&M will do whatever it takes to keep him there. Yeah, and I have a question for you guys. If Max ends up winning, having a good season, what do we do next year? Is it another controversy? Is Max the favorite going into the year, or is it still Connor's to lose? That's something I'm interested in. And I was curious if Connor was going to come back within a couple of games and Max is winning, do you really want to take Max out? But then again, Connor won a few games, so I don't know. But the real meaningful games are coming up, so Max has a really good opportunity in front of him to make a name for himself right now. Really hope he stays healthy. All right, we have another caller. What's going on? Cooper, you're on with Drew. How's it going, man?
Hey, Drew, how you doing?
Not too bad, man. What's on your mind?
Hey, man. So first thing I wanted to say is about the Max Johnson versus Connor Weigman thing.
Yeah.
I actually, as much as I hate to say it, I actually think it's kind of a good thing that Connor's out for the rest of the season because of what you just talked about, like Connor coming back possibly in a couple games, but maybe Max Johnson's playing well. Do you really take him out? So in a way, maybe that's a blessing in disguise.
I guess you don't have to make that decision, but I'd be hard-pressed to say that it's a good thing that he's out for the year. I mean, yeah, you avoid that scenario, but still, man, I mean, and Connor being out, it sucks for him, but it also makes your quarterback depth super scary because what happens when Max goes down, that's something I'm worried about.
Yeah, you obviously want Connor to be healthy the whole year.
Right.
I'm just saying, you avoid that controversy.
Yeah, sure.
The second thing is it's kind of sort of related to football, but something that I wanted to ask you about because I don't know who else to ask. I don't know if you pay attention to, like, for lack of a better word, the culture of A&M. I was just wondering what you thought about the current culture of like A&M football right now.
The current culture of A&M football. Well, I think there's two different versions of that. I definitely think there's what we see from the outside looking in. And, people will have you think that, especially last year, Jimbo doesn't have good control over the locker room. If you're talking about the football program specifically, that Jimbo didn't have great control over the locker room. We had some boneheads in there.
Yeah.
Maybe just kind of a looser locker room. But I really don't think that's the case. I mean, from what I've seen from these colleges, the few times I've gotten the behind-the-scenes looks, these players are serious about football, and they take their jobs, so to speak, very seriously. and I really think they're locked in. I really think it's a locked-in culture. Now, some stuff that does aggravate me a little bit is that I don't think Jimbo leans on like the 12th man and like Kyle Field and the tradition as much, at least from the glimpses we've gotten in like the Pulse and whatnot. Like, I don't think he brings up defending Kyle Field enough, and that's something that, gets on my nerves a little bit, and I've heard that from a couple of y'all. But for the most part, I don't think there's a major culture problem. Players get in trouble every now and then, but these are college-aged athletes. I think that's to be expected at some point. I think last year there were some bad apples in the class. Maybe some dudes that thought a little bit highly of themselves, a little bit more highly of themselves than they deserved to do. But I don't think there's a bad culture or anything like that. I just think there are a few things that might irritate fans. But what are your thoughts on the culture?
Yeah, because I was thinking about it more in terms of like the attendance at games and the fans' involvement. Because I'm actually a student.
Okay.
And I wanted to go to the Auburn game, but I got sick, unfortunately.
Oh,
But
sucks.
I was watching it in bed, and they showed a picture of this panning shot of the stands, and it was like half empty, like halfway through the third quarter, and that was just really disappointing to me.
Yeah, I didn't see half empty, but so definitely early in 11 o'clock games, the stadium's going to look half empty. That happens every time. Usually 10 minutes into the first quarter, that's when the stadium fills up for 11 o'clock games. I didn't see that it was half empty in the second half. I know the corners maybe weren't full. Maybe it's because Auburn isn't as great as they could be. Maybe it's because it's an 11 o'clock game, but I really don't think that there's an attendance issue at A&M. I feel like maybe you got some bad angles. Maybe it was right out of halftime, but I mean, I would like for it to be maxed out every game, but 11 a.m. games are sometimes difficult to fill up if the other team isn't, a ranked team. But I mean, I think the next game is going to be absolutely maxed out versus Alabama. Are you going to make it to that one?
Oh yeah, for sure. I've got my friends pulling for me. I think we're getting first deck.
Nice. That's awesome, man. Are you feeling better?
Yeah. Oh yeah, I'm feeling a lot better now.
It's funny that happened to you because the last time we played Auburn at home, I was sick and I stupidly still went to the game in standing room only. I got like nosebleeds, but then I stood like in the middle deck, and I felt terrible afterwards. I just forced myself to go because I bought the ticket. So you made a wise choice watching that thing in bed.
Yeah. I don't know. I guess for me, maybe I'm just paranoid about it because, like, I was also at the Alabama game in 2021, and that's what I expect every time.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
maybe just like 11 o'clock kickoff, and maybe I'm just overreacting.
Yeah, I think it's 11 o'clock. The fact that Auburn's not that great, the fact that, we lost an early game, I mean, that stuff affects attendance, especially, College Station for the alumni side is a drive for most people that go to the game. The student section is typically filled to the top every game, usually pretty full. But yeah, I mean, that stuff all factors into it, but I wouldn't worry about it going forward. But what else you got, man?
Yeah, the other thing was you were talking with Jeb about Damani possibly or y'all wanting him to play linebacker.
Yeah.
And it's funny enough you said that because I saw him at Brookshire Brothers today. And
oh, did you?
After you said that, I was like, that makes so much sense. His
huge?
body style, he's massive.
Yeah.
Of course, I'm 5'4", but
right.
Everyone looks huge too. But that just made a lot of sense. Maybe we should have been playing him at linebacker.
Yeah,
more.
I mean, he seems pretty solid in run support. He's an aggressive player. He's a leader. But it seems like he takes the eye candy a little bit. That's one of the negatives about him, and he sometimes can get beat in coverage. He might have – I mean, it's too late now. He's like a fifth-year senior. He's been a safety forever.
Right.
But, yeah, man, he has the body. I mean, you saw it firsthand. He's huge, and he's super, like, jacked. He has a ton of muscle. So, I mean, you feel like he could have blown up, like Jeb said, a couple more pounds and played linebacker. But, yeah, man, that's definitely true.
Yep. Yeah, well, that's all I had for you. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, sure, man. Call back anytime. It's good to hear from you, man.
Yeah, thank you.
Have a good one. Bye. That was Cooper. He called in last time, too. What's up, support Jimbo? How's it going, man?
Hey, what's up, man?
Oh, God. This is Lil Fish. This guy's definitely Jimbo Fisher's son. This guy called in a couple weeks ago. What's on your mind, support Jimbo?
Well, I remember last time we talked, you were a little down on Jimbo, and I was my usual positive self about him. And well, I said you got to win the next 4. We're already halfway there, 2-0.
Yeah. Well, you said if we lose the next 4, you're still going to support Jimbo.
Yeah, well, that's true.
So your feelings haven't changed towards Jimbo. You're still all in.
I am still all in. I think we're going to win this game pretty easily. I don't believe in Arkansas at all. And then it'll be on to the Gumps.
And then how are we going to do against the Gumps?
Oh man, that's going to be a tough one. I think I have a feeling that Nick Saban and Alabama are going to start to figure it out a little bit. It's been a rough start. I'm still not sold on Milroe.
I'm still not sold on Milroe, but he's their best option. I mean, you're going to throw Buckner out there? I mean, you're going to throw –
Well, if they don't want to score any points, they'll throw Buckner out there.
God, I hope they throw Buckner out there for Texas A&M.
Oh, look, I hate Alabama. I hope they do too, but they're not going to do that.
Yeah.
And about this Arkansas game, listen,
yeah.
they're a nice little team. Sam Pittman, it's a nice story. He's an offensive line coach at a few schools, I think, Tennessee, Georgia, and Arkansas. But, the reality, they're coming back down to earth. Yeah, he had a nice little COVID year, a few years after that, but now he's coming back down to reality.
Yeah, I'm kind of sad about it. I like Sam Pittman. I think he's a super nice guy, but he's catching some heat from the Razorback fans now, man.
Yeah, look, I mean, when you look at how they were with Chad Morris, there's no doubt.
Yeah.
He's done a fantastic job of bringing them up from the ashes, but reality set in that he's an offensive line coach, position coach at the end of the day.
I think you might be right, but he could prove us wrong this weekend. I still have visions of him, fist bumping after they beat us a couple years ago. That game is ridiculous. It doesn't matter how they're doing or how their little team is doing. They can always give Jimbo a scare. But I mean, you ever been to Jerry World? It's a crazy stadium. It's an interesting environment for a football game.
I went there for a concert one time, but that was it.
Okay. Yeah, it's really good for a football game. So, what does Jimbo have to do this year for you to continue to support him? Because I know you're a big Jimbo supporter. I know through the ups and downs you're going to be with him. A lot of us are too. What's your level of performance you need to see?
I think he needs to beat Arkansas.
Okay.
Alabama. That is going to be. I don't know. I'm getting a feeling about it. I don't know.
A bad feeling?
I wouldn't say bad, but it's on the down.
Yeah. I mean, they look improved versus Ole Miss for sure. Not perfect though.
It's a look. They're not like the old Alabama, but Saban is going to get his boys together.
I know.
They already lost one game. I don't think he's going to be eliminated. I don't think he's going to let his team be eliminated from the playoffs.
I know it, man.
First week of October.
I feel like right when they roll into College Station is when they're going to be rolling again. I think maybe they're going to work through some things at Mississippi State this weekend, and we're going to get their best shot. But we're going to learn where A&M is this weekend versus Arkansas. I think this is our best measuring stick game yet. I think it's like a team that we probably should beat on paper, minus the crazy game that it usually is. And we're going to learn where A&M's at. And hopefully it's at a place to compete with Bama next week. I hope Bama's first 2 losses of the year to 2 Texas teams, even though I don't like the first one that beat Bama.
Oh, I hate that first team. Hate them.
Do you?
I do, man. I can't stand them horns.
Yeah. What'd you think about that Clemson FSU game last weekend?
Oh man, that was an interesting game. Clemson they got a quarterback from Austin, Texas. He's pretty good, but fortunately for them, I hate FSU. Not a fan, but there's just too many mistakes for Clemson. I saw it. They dominated that game, but they just too many mistakes. The coaches are a bunch of fucking idiots. I mean, I don't know.
That's strong words. Strong words. Maybe well deserved. I don't know. There's a lot of questions circling Dabo and his program right now. But all right, give me your score prediction for the game this weekend. Aggies versus Arkansas and Jerry World. What do you got?
I'm gonna say Texas A&M 31, Arkansas 20.
A&M 31, Arkansas 20. A lot of people are saying about a 10-point win, so that lines up. Well, all right, Support Jim, before I let you go, anything else you want to tell the people?
Well, I just got to – I don't have to tell you anything. I got a question for you. What did you think of Ryan Day's comments about Lou Holtz? I liked it personally. I don't like Lou Holtz. I think he's an asshole. I think he's always been one. I don't care that he's old. He was an asshole back in the day, back in the 80s.
Not only is he old, he literally can't walk. And you're going to pick on a man who can't even walk, who really just doesn't give a shit about anything anymore. I mean, I feel like Ryan Day has some grievances with a lot of people who've been calling out Ohio State for being soft over his tenure there. But, I mean, I feel like he just took it all out on Lou Holtz. And I'm a Lou Holtz fan. I actually found him really entertaining, and I enjoyed his show back in the day.
Well, Lou Holtz wasn't necessarily wrong. I mean, Ohio State under Ryan Day has been very soft.
Yeah, they have been soft. They've always gotten beaten in the trenches. That's always been their issue, has it not?
It has, and I don't see it with them this year. That Kyle McCord, what's his name? Kyle. I don't see it.
Kyle McCord, yes sir.
Yeah, he's all right. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I get it. It's gonna hype your fan base up. If you're an Ohio State fan, you're gonna feel real good hearing that. They're all drinking in their TV watching, dojos, situations watching the game. They're all probably screaming when he started yelling that, jumping for joy. So, if you're an Ohio State fan, you love it. But yeah, like Connor Chappell's saying, we need to just put him in the ring and let Ryan Day and Lou Holtz duke it out. I don't know who's winning that one.
Yeah, I don't want to hold you on too much longer, but I just have to say that this college football season seems pretty wide open. There's no clear dominant team. Georgia has just looked like they're just dragging their feet.
They're just coasting through it. They're not going too hard. They're not showing anything.
I mean, it's just at some point somebody is going to scare them, and when you haven't been working, what's going to happen?
That's true. And you know what? I think Auburn's kind of bad on offense. But what happens if they find a little bit of mojo at home versus Georgia coming off a bad loss on the road next week? Do you think there's any chance Auburn does anything to Georgia this weekend? Because like you said, Georgia's super unproven this year.
Auburn, Jordan Hare, they're built on some ancient Indian burial ground or something there.
There's something going on there for sure.
There's something, especially when it's Alabama. But, Georgia pretty much sleepwalked through South Carolina first half. And I think Auburn's a little more talented in South Carolina. And it's at home for them. So I don't think they're going to win. I think Georgia will probably end up winning by double digits. But, who knows?
They're a 14-point favorite right now. I think that sounds pretty spot on. I think Auburn's going to give them a little bit of a game, but nothing crazy.
Look, man, I can envision it now. The Ags and the Dogs in Mercedes-Benz Stadium in December.
Ooh, I would love that. I'll be there if that happens. And you know what? It's still on the table, baby. Ags have everything in front of them right now. And you know what? Yep. I still think we beat LSU at LSU to end the year. I still feel it. We beat them last year, and they might have a little revenge factor, but we dominated them asses last year. We beat them good. I think if this team gets it together, they can compete with anybody, and I still think Bama is the toughest team on the schedule just based on them being Bama. And I know that's not really an analysis, but I feel like we're going to get their best shot.
Look, at the end of the day, Brian Kelly is always going to let you down if you're cheering for his team.
So he's going to take you pretty far, and at the very end, he's going to let you down. That's kind of how it goes.
He's going to tease you, but there ain't going to be nothing at the end for you.
Well, all right,
it's man. Starro.
Oh, last question. I'm going to let you go after this. You heard about our quarterback situation. Connor Weigman down. Does Max Johnson, does that change our outlook on the year? Do you think he's a serviceable player? He was an LSU guy in the past.
And he has all the secrets from now LSU that he's going to use. Was he on LSU's national championship team?
I don't think so.
Well, shit.
I don't think so. No, definitely not. I think he was a redshirt in 2020, or I believe he was a redshirt in 2020. I believe that's what he was.
All right. Well, listen. I think it's Mac Johnson. I'm excited for him. I think. I don't know. I got a feeling about him.
Yeah.
I like him over Weigman. So.
You like him over Weigman?
I do.
Some did. It was a small subsection of Aggies, but some people did. Well, all right, man. So you think that makes our year? It doesn't change our outlook. We still have a solid quarterback.
Listen. In 2001, Drew Bledsoe went down, and a man named Tom Brady came in. I'll leave it at that.
Okay. Well, thanks for your time support, Jimbo. I appreciate your outlook.
All right. I can't wait to call in next week.
All right. Thanks, man. Bye. That was support Jimbo, friend of the show. He's always an optimist about good old Jimbo Fisher. And you know what? I think us Aggies, it's in our best interest for him to continue to work out for us. We don't want to pull that reset button, spend all that money. We're going to lose a lot of players in the portal if that happens. So, you know what? Support Jimbo as long as we can. Let's catch up on some of the chat here. We got Chuck Henry in the chat hyping up the Longhorns. What's up, Chuck Henry? Barnes saying Alabama finally looked better on defense against Ole Miss. You know, they're looking like they're getting better and better every week. I think it's still not clean yet, but I feel like y'all are going to be getting much better in these next couple of weeks, which scares the hell out of me. I give the Tide no chance if Bill O'Brien were OC. Yeah, they wanted him out real quickly. Yeah, Bama's unfortunately a 2:30 kick, Philip Mixon, and I know we feel like that game should always be a night game, but 2:30, we'll be there cooking. Hopefully it's a little cooler then. But you know what? That's enough time to get fans in the stadium. The 11 o'clock games are tough for the home games because, like I said, they take a while to file into their seats, but at least we're on primetime CBS. It'll be fun to rewatch the game. I'm going to it, so. Chris Cobb says A&M rolls over Arkansas and Alabama. I love the optimism, and you know what? I really hope you're right. Lou Holtz get by KO in round 2. Yeah. Yeah, I liked Lou Holtz's show. I got a kick out of him. I liked Mark May's smug ass just kind of messing with Lou Holtz. Even though I'm not a huge Mark May fan, it was funny to watch him and Lou together. That was a crazy era of college football. I mean, that's like childhood right there. Dylan Scrogan says, with NIL now, anyone with deep pockets can build a champ potential roster. It's all in the coaching for the results. Yeah, that's going to be the difference maker. Washington looks legit. Absolutely, man. Penix has to be the leader for the Heisman right now. No question about it. Georgia playing cupcakes, though. Safe for South Carolina. How do y'all feel about that South Carolina matchup coming up? I mean, seems like it's Spencer Rattler versus the world. Not much of an offensive line. Lost their best running back in the portal. Rattler's good, man. I'm pretty high on him. He doesn't have the tools around him. But we got him at home. I'm going to be at that game. We'll get him. I think we'll get him. Max Johnson goes back to Tiger Stadium and beats LSU. That'd be funny. Remember the last time we were there with Max Johnson playing quarterback? We won that game if they would have called that fumble at the end. But I'm feeling it. You know, it's obviously just a lottery pick. I'm just guessing, but I think we beat them. I think this is the year we do it. In Death Valley. Ags versus Missouri in the SEC championship game this year. We'll see if Missouri's legit. One of the few undefeated SEC teams. I mean, I feel like Georgia's better, but you never know. Florida still has a chance to make it. You know, it was really surprising to see him dominate Tennessee like that. I mean, you never know what's going to happen. I kind of thought they were going to go down the toilet after that opener versus Utah. Judging from spring practice, I could tell Max had stepped his game up. Dude, he looks really physically good, Bailioso. But, I mean, in the time we've seen him this year versus Auburn, in that Auburn game, I really felt like Connor came out a little bit cold. I really felt like he wasn't in the best rhythm coming into that game. Holding on to the ball too long on one play on a third down in the red zone. Just not accurate on a couple balls. And, you know, then it sucked that he got hurt. Obviously, we don't wish that upon anybody. But then Max comes in, and he's dialed in, man. And he's looking good. He's looking a little bit more mobile, a little bit more decisive than ever, I think, just with his decision-making. I mean, it just seems more quick right now and crisp. I'm really excited to see him. Although I'm obviously gutted. It sucks about Connor. But we got to be excited for Max, and I'm actually really excited to see him play. I like Max for this season, but not long-term like Connor. Yeah, exactly. Johnson calls better protection than Connor for now. That's what I've been hearing. I need to hone in on that, but I heard Max is better at calling the protection pre-snap. Scruggins, they called Henderson the backup. Jimbo declared that in the SEC conference call today, and he's the one that got into the garbage time versus, I think it was ULM. Henderson's the sophomore transfer quarterback. He looked pretty good on air, but, you know, we got to see it. I mean, hopefully we don't, but you know what I mean. Night games at your place are a nightmare for visiting teams, says Barnes. Yeah, man, we love having night games there. We haven't had one this year besides the opener, which was a lesser team. Aftermarket Consulting. How's it going, Aftermarket? O-line's been solid. Has to be solid from here on out. Yeah, Max needs a little bit more time than Connor did for sure. We got a Longhorn in the chat, Radul Miranda. As a huge Texas Longhorn fan, I'm always rooting for A&M to do well. Wow, that's surprising. Unless playing Texas, of course. but I like to see other biggest schools in Texas doing it well, hoping your quarterback recovers. Well, I appreciate the kind words. Yeah, I don't wish injury upon any rival quarterback. I don't want Quinn to go down. Even though you have some nice backups, I don't want to see that. So thanks for the nice words, man. Yeah, it sucks for him. Score prediction against Arkansas. So I have it in a close game, 35-38 Aggies. That's how I have it, Sports Psycho. Everybody has to have an off game at some point. Yep. Alabama's had 5 touchdowns negated in 3 games by penalties. Yep. That'll kill you. And this game versus Arkansas, A&M's had some red zone penalties lately. That will kill you versus Arkansas because they're gonna score, I think, close to 30 points on A&M. Even if A&M plays a pretty good defensive game, I just think KJ is pretty dynamic. He's pretty smart. I think he can just extend plays and get it done. But I'll feel really good if A&M holds them to around 20. I'll feel really good about that defensive performance. But here's the thing about Arkansas. Like I was saying earlier, I don't think they have the most lethal skill positions right now, outside of Rocket Sanders if he does indeed play and his level of health. They're not going to have burners that beat you. I think it's going to be more of a slow burn where they're going to be throwing these dink and dunk. They're going to be throwing contested balls, and they have some big, handsy receivers, and we have some smaller, somewhat suspect corners. So, yeah. If we don't make a bowl game this year, he's definitely gone. Yeah, I think so, Chris Cobb. Wish they had some packages for Henderson, the Wildcat. Try it, right? Get him on the field because we're out of cupcakes now. Terry Bussey tomorrow. Man, I'm really hoping. All right, we got another caller. Christopher, you're on with Drew. How's it going, man?
What's up, Drew? How you doing, brother?
Not too bad, man. What's on your mind?
Oh, not a whole lot. It's Wednesday, so, Jimbo's got his, the Jimbo Fisher radio show at Rudy's here in Aggie Land, and the hay's pretty much in the barn at this point. It's about time to take off for Arlington and take care of business, go hunt some hogs.
Exactly. You going to the game?
No, I'm not going to the game. I wish. I'd love to go to Druryland, but I'm not going to the game, no.
Yeah. How you feeling this week, man? You feeling like we have a good chance to keep winning?
Well, as one that wants to be I know you don't know me like that, but I actually want to be a football coach. So I'm feeling relatively confident about this one. But you can't overlook anybody. You got to take care of business. Each week that you go out there.
Absolutely. So why do you think, Texas A&M obviously out-talents Arkansas every year by somewhat of a significant margin. I mean, they're both SEC schools, but A&M recruits pretty much top tier relative to the whole country. Why is this game always crazy?
Well, it's like most rivalry games in the SEC. They get like that. I mean, look at the one last year. Two massive plays. That could have gone either way. One being the fumble by KJ on the goal line, and then Dermani returning it all the way back for a touchdown, and then obviously Cam Little missing the field goal to go up late in the game, which, I always kind of ask myself, I'm like, I wonder what would have happened if they made that field goal, because there was still time on the clock too, so A&M could have easily moved the ball down the field and won the game anyway. But we'll never know. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. And you know what? A&M missed, I think, a relatively easy field goal earlier in the game too. So it's always a game where it comes down to a few plays, or at least it has been the last couple of years. I would feel so good if we just go out there and get like a comfortable 2-score win, man. I mean, how would that make you feel going into Bama the next week?
It would make me feel pretty good, knowing now that Max is going to be your signal caller for the rest of the year. I'm interested to see what he does this week with him getting, most of the reps in practice. Now I'm interested to see what he does with this Petrino offense.
Yeah, I'm excited, man. I'm excited to see him. Like we said, we're all sad about Connor, but excited for the opportunity. So do you think Max being in there changes the outlook on the year at all, or do you think we're just going to pick up right where we left off, just keep pushing forward?
I think you pick up right where you left off. You keep pushing forward. Everything's still right in front of you. Go get what's yours. Go win that West.
I know. I think it's still wide open. Lots of opportunity out there. Well, all right, Chris, what else you got? What else on your mind?
And I will say this. Some people are probably not going to agree with me on this, but I will say that I like a game like Miami in the middle of the year, like early in the year, because it allows you to learn a lot about yourself before you go into conference play. If we don't have a game like we had against Miami, we don't know where we're struggling at, versus if we played like 3 lesser teams, if you want to call it that, we would just say, oh, A&M's dominant. We expected that. But playing a team like Miami, you can go, okay, well, we know that, here's where we need to improve, and that's what you can take into conference play. And I think we've done that so far.
That's a really, really good point because, in high school you have exhibition games. In the pros you have preseason. You don't get that in college. You get, out-of-conference games. That's kind of where you have to set the tone, learn about your team, put stuff on film. And I would say one of the biggest issues that game was we weren't able to get a pass rush. And versus Auburn, we saw that rectified in a big way. So, they had it on film, and maybe that was something they were able to address.
Full right, and like you said about the pass rush, we weren't able to get a good pass rush. And I will say this: you can call whatever coverage you want to call, but if you can't get to the quarterback in a timely manner, it's not going to matter because you can't expect your back end to hold up for 8 to 10 seconds.
That's absolutely right. And a quarterback like Tyler Van Dyke will make you pay. Same with KJ. KJ will make you pay too. And the thing about KJ coming up is, you should put some pressure on him, but you got to be careful about getting downfield, pinning your ears back too much because he'll just run.
You've got to be disciplined in your rush lanes. Do not allow him to get out of the pocket, and if you're going to force them up, make sure you've got a linebacker in to spy on him. And I will say a thing that concerns me, and maybe it's just me, but I've been watching a lot of film on Arkansas, and what I saw against LSU was a team that liked to get extremely vertical. Right. Push the ball downfield. Try to get it to your guys on the outside. So if I'm A&M, I'm running a cover 2 based defense, and I'm manning up the outside guys, and I'm forcing you to throw it to your inside guys, and I'm saying, you know what, I'm gonna rally down to make the tackle, and if I don't, you can beat me, but I'm not gonna allow you to beat me on the outside of the field. I'm not gonna do it.
Absolutely, and they got some big bodies out there, so I gotta have to be real disciplined. But I'm excited to see Torrin, York, and Cooper, like Asian Persuasion is saying in the chat right now, up against a great test versus a guy who will test you in a bunch of different ways in KJ. How do you feel about these linebackers?
Linebackers, you are gonna have to tackle in space, because if we play like how I think we're going to, it's gonna be up to those guys to hold it down in the middle, because I hate to say it, but I don't trust our outside guys with no safety help over the top.
Me neither, man. They haven't shown that yet. So, yeah, it's a huge test for those linebackers this game. But they've been so solid this year. It's been such a godsend this year to have such quality linebacker play thus far. It's been a question mark at the program pretty much since Buddy Johnson.
I will say this: a guy that I'm kind of impressed with so far is 45 Edrin Cooper.
Yeah.
He's flying all over the place.
Man, love Edge Cooper. All right, so what's your score prediction on the game?
I've got 38 to 21. Aggies take it in to Jerryland for this year.
Man, I would love that score. I'd be celebrating after that game. I'd already be in the stands at Kyle Field if we end up winning by 17 for Alabama next week.
And I will tell you that there are already people, camping out for Alabama.
I love to see that, man. We got the best student section in the country. We absolutely do, man.
Yeah, we do, and I'm ready to take care of business this week, and then on to Alabama. You're gonna have another test next week, but everything's in front of us, and we just gotta take care of what we can and play our brand of Aggie football and put our foot down and go and do what we do, because this team is very special. People don't know it yet, but they will know it by the end of the year. I promise you that.
I think you're definitely onto something there. I think they could be very special. Well, all right, Christopher, it was great to hear from you, man. I hope you'll call in again in the future.
Oh yes, sir. I got you, brother, and I'll be back next week before the Alabama game. And I will say this: shout out to Coach Coop. That's how I came across you in the first place. So
awesome,
shout out to him for that, and we'll catch up next week and beat the hell out of Arkansas. Let's do this thing.
Let's do it, Christopher. Thanks for calling, man. You have a good night.
Thanks, man. God bless.
Bless you. That was Christopher. That was a great call, guys. Aspiring coach. You could hear it. Man, I'm so hyped for this game now just talking about it. I know it was a rough day hearing about Connor, but I'm so ready for this game. I think we have a chance to really stamp this season in and take that next level, guys. We have no callers waiting in the chat. I'll give it a couple more minutes if you want to call in. I'm going to go through the chat real quick. Aftermarket Consulting says 44-17 Aggies. You know what, man? I'm seeing a couple of blowout predictions. Don't start convincing me, guys. Don't start convincing me, because I'll buy in. I will seriously buy into an Aggie blowout. Because, dude, if we end up putting a dominant game down versus Arkansas, we're going to be feeling stellar going into the next few games. And Christopher brings up a good point. We learned a lot about the team versus Miami. They put a lot of shortcomings up onto film, things to address directly. You know, it'll be, hindsight will be 2020, but it may be a blessing in disguise when we're looking back on the season in about 5 weeks. So we'll see. Connor Chappell says 24-3 Hogs. KJ goes for 500. Okay. No. Dylan says, I got a feeling Anias will be out for blood in this one after going out last year. Yes, I was thinking the same thing. You know, what's he going to feel like when he re-enters that building where his season ended last year? Is he going to be on fire, ready to go, ready to prove something to the world? Anias hasn't scored a touchdown yet this year. Are we ready for a punt return? I want to see an Anias punt return so bad. It seems like he's just one step away from breaking so many punt returns. I love it. I hope Anias gets going this game. George Robinson says 35-17 Ags. Moose with 2 touchdowns. I want to see Moose going too. Moose has been getting some steady playing time. Of course, it's a really good room, so he's not out there every play. But I would love to see Moose get going. Remember how clutch he was last year with contested balls, one-handed grabs? Moose was great last year. And was this the game he came alive after Anias went down, or was it the next game? I think it was the Arkansas game last year. Barnes says to Connor score prediction. Connor, if that happens, Jimbo's gone. Yeah, if A&M loses 24-3, yeah. KJ will be on his ass. Wrecking Crew. Dude, I want us to body KJ. I mean, I'm a fan. I like KJ Jefferson. I'm a fan of the way he plays. He's a great college quarterback. I don't know what he's going to do with the pros, but it'd be awesome to put a guy like that down because he's such a load to take down. Hope we have a rematch with Miami in the Peach Bowl. Yes, that'd be awesome. I was thinking about that earlier today, too. If KJ gets loose in the A&M secondary, you're in trouble. Anytime you have small guys trying to tackle KJ, you're in big trouble. I'm confident in the run defense. Me too. But I know Arkansas is going to have some big runs here and there. That's the name of their game. I mean, when you have a quarterback threat like that, yeah. We need to get our running game going to open up some of the passing game. If that happens, it's going to be like last week for Arkansas against LSU. Yep. Every game's going to be a test here on out. Yep. And you know what? Auburn was a test. And did we pass that test? I think we got a B, maybe a B-. The thing that I'm coming out of Auburn feeling is, are we a mistake-prone team that gets penalties in the red zone, or is that just something that we can clean up? And then we're a really good team, because A&M could have scored close to 40 points if they don't get early red zone penalties. If that's the personality of the team, you're going to drop some games, including this one to Arkansas. You can't sputter out in the red zone. You can't settle for 3 against KJ Jefferson in this Arkansas attack. So you leave Auburn feeling kind of cautiously good, but you worry about those things. And then there were some jailbreaks in the secondary as well versus Auburn. They just couldn't make them pay for it. Rat poison. The Arkansas game is never a blowout. It has been a couple times in the past, but as of recently, when Sam Pittman took over, hell no. This game is a nail biter. Get your heart medication going. Yeah. I think Petrino's going to pull the bag out for this game. Yes, I was thinking that both teams are going to pull the bag out this game, with Arkansas's backs against the wall, Petrino against his old team, and A&M kind of in a must-win game as well. I think we're going to see some things we haven't seen yet. This game is so exciting. This is my favorite game of the year for some reason. I don't know what it is about it. Can't believe we're on week 4 already. I know, this thing flies by. Hopefully we're playing for a lot more later in the year. I hope we have an exciting November. I want to go to that LSU game. I'm not going to go if we have nothing to play for, though, because it's expensive. I want to go see the first time the Ags win in LSU. I want to be there. Moose came out this game last year. Yep. So it's a year on the day for Moose and Anias. Oof. We'd love to see that. Petrino will beat his old school, absolutely ass kick for the Aggies. I hope you're right, Chris. I really hope you're right. Cody Sure says, every time we predict a blowout, it's way less on the score. That plus this game always being wonky makes me think of crazy low scoring. 20-17 Aggies. You know, anything is possible in this game, man. Anything's possible. I just think it's a close game. I just think that's the personality of this game. This game exists in a vacuum. Regardless of how both teams are doing, it just feels like this game has a personality of its own, which makes it so fun. It's one of the few games I actually have a little bit of fear walking into the stadium because everyone's drunk. It's 11 a.m. game. It might not be that bad this year, but everyone's drunk. Everyone's pretty hostile. I think Arkansas people are pretty nice, but when you're at this game, it brings something out. That's just been my experience. I don't know if this is everyone's experience at this game, but this game gets pretty dang rowdy when you're at it. Some of the penalties was on us, but that was some on the officials. Yes, for sure, Bilioso, but the false starts were on us, and we got to clean those up. But yes, you're right. There was some BS that game. And then, did y'all hear that Hugh Freeze issued 4 penalties to the SEC officiating office for review? That seems a little backwards, huh? A little weird, huh? Yeah. Lash says, my heart medication is ready to go. Even when we've been heavily favored, lately the games have been close. I know, man. Bailey also bad calls, yeah. Yeah, when Robinson pancaked that dude, that wasn't holding to me. They've been calling that a lot this year. Dude, yes, you're right. Where they kind of get bull rushed and they pull him down. We're all taught to do that on the O-line. But I guess you got to be more sneaky with it somehow. Kind of let them take you down more so than pulling them down. I don't know. It's kind of weird. If Max Duggan can do it last year, then so can Johnson. Period. Yeah. Yeah. Johnson should be better than Max Duggan. Maybe a little bit less mobile, a little bit less crazy, a little less few screws loose in the head, just willing to run into traffic like Max was. But yeah. Draft beer, what about $15? Draft beer, about $15 a cup at Jerry World, yes. Michael Dodd, great way to engage fans. Well done. Thanks, Michael, and thanks for being here, man. Yeah, we're trying to do this live show once a week. Wednesdays at 8 p.m. is the date we're settling on, the time we're settling on now. 3 sleeps before kickoff. Talk a little bit about the week before, talk a little bit about the upcoming week. It's a good time. So, yeah, good to see you here, Mike. Philip Mixon, I want to see Noah Thomas get involved. Also, LT Overton and Foster have to be solid, and Bryce Anderson has to ball. Dude, I really hope Noah Thomas is healthy and ready to go this game. Survive and advance. Space Jesus says, in my opinion, Arkansas fans are the worst at having gone to this game and interacting with them. You know, I want to believe in Arkansas fans because I have Arkansas family and they're super nice people. They love Arkansas football. I mean, that's their sport in the state. There's nothing else in Arkansas, obviously. So it's Arkansas football or nothing pretty much. They're also Cowboys fans up there. But Arkansas football is life in Arkansas. So, I mean, their whole lives are tied around their team, and I respect that. But every time I've gone to a game, I felt the same way, just a little hostile, a little bit more hostile than what we're used to. And Aggies are known for being the nicest fan base. It's just kind of a thing that we pride ourselves in. So it's very jarring. It's very jarring. And even drunk Aggies with feisty Arkansas fans, you can get some fireworks going. Dylan says, I think turnovers determines this one. Got to take care of that ball, especially in this game. You cannot afford turnovers this game. I mean, one turnover, fine, it happens. But if we start dropping the ball on the ground, big fumbles like we've had in our 2 Power 5 games this year, one by Amari Daniels versus Miami, one by Ruben Owens last game, those big momentum-turning fumbles cannot happen in this one. But this game's wild, so expect everything. TCU also had a way easier schedule last year. Yeah, and then they somehow beat Michigan. If TCU and Michigan from last year played each other 10 times, how many times is TCU actually beating Michigan? I don't know about that. Do you think the defense finally has it all together, or was it just because Auburn sucked? A little bit of both that game, but I will say I really liked the way they blitzed. They were not telegraphing the blitz. The blitz was timed well. It was sneaky. It helped the D-line, and the D-line helped the linebackers, and there was just a lot of complimentary ball on the defense. I mean, like one of the previous callers was saying, if you don't blitz and the quarterback has 8 seconds to find the ball, it doesn't matter how good your coverage is, they're going to find someone. And I just felt like there was some harmony on the defense last week. But obviously it's another challenge with KJ Jefferson. But the D-line looked way more disruptive last week, and I was very happy to see that. Maybe not as disruptive as we had hoped earlier in the year versus Miami. What else does Arkansas have? Their weapons are weird. They have a really good but young tight end. He's a true freshman, Barnes. He's been really good for them this year. They have a bunch of high-level but lower division transfers at receiver, and they have a couple of running backs that are supposed to be their backups in Dominion and Green. And Dominion's they've both been really good at times this year. None you would say really scare the life out of you, but they are getting Rocket Sanders back this weekend, and we think he'll be healthy and good to go. So obviously he's going to be something to keep an eye on. What's his level of health? Offensively, I mean, it's not like a fireworks show, but they do have some big guys that can get up and get it. And it's just KJ, man. Their offensive line, a little bit inconsistent. When they're good, they're good. When they're bad, they're bad. That's kind of how these offensive lines go. They don't get beat a lot, but they make a lot of mistakes. They actually lost in the game versus BYU down the stretch. The O-line did, by just having Arkansas had a drive left with about 2 minutes left in the game versus BYU, and the O-line had, I believe, 5 penalties on that game, potentially game-winning drive. That kind of stuff. I wouldn't say Arkansas fans are the worst, but they're definitely cockier for a team that's lost to us 10 out of the last 11 times. You know what? They're just pissed off, man. They're just pissed off, and I get it. Drew, I think we're too nice as fans sometimes, especially when we have snob rivals like Longhorns. You know, I get it when the alumni's nice, but you need a hostile student section, right, Bailioso? I think there's still some, there's still some toxicity in there. But, man, I mean, if you're walking down the street, you see an Auburn fan, what do? I don't know. It's up to y'all. From other videos I've watched from other fans, they mentioned A&M having really nice fans. Yeah, that's what all the fan bases say, that we have great, nice fans. Arky fans, leave Jerry World at halftime. Please. I would love to see a half maroon, half empty stadium this weekend. AJ Green is still really solid. Green is good. Dominion did good against LSU. They're both solid. But A&M has a pretty good run defense right now, with the front seven just kind of peaking. I mean, this is maybe the best linebacker duo we've had. I mean, this has a chance to be as good or better than when Buddy Johnson was here. I mean, this linebacking duo looks legit. They bring a senior off the bench in Chris Russell. You feel really good about this front seven and this run defense right now. I feel really confident in it. But when you have two guys and then you get Rocket Sanders back, that's really going to test this run defense, and obviously KJ. Their highway patrol is famous for their PIT maneuvers. Bailioso says, right. I hope the players don't feel the pressure like we do in here. I don't know. I'd like to believe these players live in they live with their own narratives that we're not even privy to. They live with whatever the coaches are telling them, whatever the message is, that's their perception. I really hope the players don't think like us fans do, but that's really hard because the separation, that fourth wall or whatever, is busted down with social media these days. So you just really hope they're not on there reading too much stuff. I'd really like to believe that they have a culture of their own outside of what we believe, Philip. I think our D-line can dominate their O-line. I think LSU's defense is suspicious at times. Yes to both of those things. Yes to both of those things, Asian Persuasion. LSU's defense is a little suspect. Not bad, but suspect. Our D-line should dominate their O-line. It really should. But we'll have to find out. But all right, guys, I'm going to wrap it up there. If you could like and subscribe, that would help me greatly. I'm really trying to grow this thing. We had 30 viewers on average this show. Just great job to you guys. I really appreciate you guys being here. But if you could like and subscribe, that would help me greatly. And if you haven't done it yet, what's your score prediction for the game this weekend? I tried to read them all as they came down. It's hard to read all the comments as I have callers, though. But I tried to read them. If you haven't, put it in the chat. We want to see what you guys have to say. And last question. Now, we'll leave it at that. Score prediction, and then we're getting out of here. But, man, I am so excited for this game, guys. Every game is like the season right now. After what happened early in the year, you really need to get some wins under your belt, at least going into that Tennessee game. I still predict that Tennessee game as a loss. It's hard to win that one, having to play Bama the week before, and Tennessee has a bye when A&M is playing Bama. So you really want to win, and then if you lose to Tennessee, if it's a competitive game, we feel good about the team. I'm not going to lose too much sleep over that loss, although if we win these next two, I'm going to really want to win it, and I might change my dialogue then. So you really got to win this one, and then who knows what happens next. Space Jesus says 31-21 A&M. Asian Persuasion to 38-20. TMJ Boss 41-27 Ags. Hit the gig 'em button. That's right, hit the gig 'em button. Thanks, guys. All right, guys. Well, I'm going to get out of here. I will see you with my post-game video. I'll be at the game, so it might be an hour or so after the game I post a video. I'm going to try to get some footage from at the game if possible. My girlfriend's going with me. Maybe she can record me walking around the stadium, and I'll have a mic and talking. I want to do that, but sometimes that's easier said than done. But I'll definitely be there with the post-game video after the game, and then either Sunday night or Monday morning, depending on how travel goes, I'll give you guys my lay of the Aggie land, where I talk about the game, talk about the program going forward. Rudel Miranda says 34-24 Aggies, and thank you for liking. Bailioso, 38-25. I saw your score prediction on my last video. Thanks, Bailioso. I love that score. I really hope we do that. I think we can score 38. That's what I think we do. If we hold them at 25, I'm feeling damn good. Jimbo looked really fired up addressing the team in the Pulse. He did. I loved the energy in there. I really like the energy in the Pulse. Did you guys have the chance to watch it yet? Special teams win this. Philip says A&M by a mile. Go watch the Pulse, guys. I'll see you in the next one. Thanks, guys. Gig 'em. Beat the hell out of Arkansas.